That you were in the thumbnail. And it says we are live. I'm sure notifications are dropping. Hello, everybody. Allyson, Mozzie, and I are here to welcome everybody to another Friday night, another end of the week. And he looks more than interested, don't you? So, another week has gone by. First week of March. Hope is starting well for everybody. And what we're going to do is do this and say, hi, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye.
So pretty.
Because if I
Everybody.
keep him there, he's going to jump on and he's going to step all over the keyboard and whatnot. So, all righty. So we got people already are hanging out, waiting for us to start. The Miss Lovely, Miss Tarot D, Chit Chat Readings, and Scout. Yes, and Miss Tarot D, I got to see a cute video of Scout today, so he's adorable. And Magus is here with his new channel name. Hello, Magus. We love you too. Shelby is here.
Play
That's
with my light
Moonfox.
here. Looks kind of weird.
I told Allyson she looks all mystical and all, misty. And let's see, who else do we have here? We have Selena is here. And while I have her up on the screen, Selena will be joining Allyson and I next Friday as a guest on the
That's
channel.
awesome.
So we are looking forward to that. And let's see who else is here. Janet Lee, and you're making pizza. Oh, yummy. Take a bite for me. That sounds wonderful. And let's see, Selena says, I'll try and participate in the chat. You're writing a paper. Well, your paper comes first, girl. You're going through school. School homework first. Let's see, everyone's saying hello to each other. Alexi is here. Hi, all. I think this might be a different Lexi, unless. Oh no, we have two Alexis. We have Alexis Milner, and then we have this Lexi. So good to see you. And I think we are all caught up for. Oh no, we're not. Oh, Celia says she looks dreamy with all the fuzzy and the lights. So yeah, I want to look dreamy. So just
Actually, I'm looking at how this is looking. This is actually just my salt rock lamp, but it's reflecting a little bit off of my wooden bookcase.
Oh, that's so pretty.
And that's why it's looking like that. I just realized. Yeah. So really you're just seeing the reflection. And then that's one of my little lamps over there that has like a very honey amber looking shade on it, which is very pretty. So my altar is what's really pretty, but you can't see that from here. That's across the room.
I can see all the pretty plants and all the green.
That's you see lovely. Some of them. Yep.
So I am just going to shut my cam off for a second. Allyson, why don't you go ahead and start it off and share what a wonderful week you had. And I'm just going to close my door because my Shan is jamming, but I don't want YouTube to hear that and think something's going on and it's giving me a strike for anything. So I'm just going to go and.
I can't hear it at all.
Oh, really? You can't hear anything?
I don't hear any music. Okay. Does anybody hear any music?
If nobody hears anything, then I'm just going to leave the door open because I get to enjoy my little concert.
Yeah, I hear nothing.
Okay. Let's see. And Shelby says, I made Dole Whip. Ooh, it was good, but I could do better next time. Keep practicing. All righty. And how was your week?
My week was, Moonfox.
Mm-hmm.
So it says she doesn't hear any. My week was, it was okay. It was, there was a couple of annoying things that happened, with work, of course. And then, I got that, anyways, yeah, with a couple, with a middle schooler of mine, that's being dealt with any kind of luck. I'll have him off the bus. What else?
Not the same one that threw the grape at you at the
windshield.
Yes,
actually. But there's like 5 or 6 boys that all sit together, and the funny, he's the one that just stirs the pot, and then also days and days and days and days will go by and he doesn't do anything. So it's like, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, but like he's the one that stirs everything up, and then they all kind of, they're always kind of loud, but as long as they don't do anything, I don't really care. I mean, I really don't. My bus is not full by any stretch, and they all kind of congregate together in the back. And some days they're fine. Other days they're just so amped up and loud, and just, anyways. Um, they made such an uproar. Or I'll go ahead and say this: was it Tuesday or Wednesday? We were leaving um the school, and we're departing, and there's like a whole, because it's kind of like tucked into a neighborhood, and you have to go, and there's all this parent traffic and everything else. We had to work our way through it. And they got all riled up about somebody that they saw outside of the window. I don't know who it was, doesn't even matter. And they all stood up together in the back, and they were really, really loud. And this is all while I'm going through an intersection to make a turn.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I just had it. And I stopped the bus, and I screamed, which I never do. And I yelled, "Sit down," like really loud. And then I said, "And shut up." And I said it really, and I don't do that. We're not supposed to do that, but it's like, I just don't. We have drivers that yell at the kids all the time. And I never do. And I don't really ever have to. Individually, I'll call them by name, because all the bad boys in the back, I know them all by name. And usually I don't have to say anything, or I'll just say, "Sit down," something like that, But I mean, from my feet, yelled to sit down. And the crazy thing is, they all sat down, and they were so quiet for like,
they were like,
I guess I channeled my whole mom energy, right? And I don't know what it was. I was shocked that it actually worked, to be perfectly honest. And I had a scowl on my face probably I did the rest of the trip, and I basically didn't say anything, which was kind of not genuine. I realized, oh, me looking pissed off and not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like as they exit, which I felt kind of bad because I wasn't saying anything to anybody. A couple of the girls that I really, really like, I just, I said goodbye as they got off the bus, and that's all I said. I realized that it was helping, so I just didn't say anything. Anyways, but I wrote it up, and I didn't get to turn it in the next day. It didn't get turned in until yesterday. And then today, when they all rode, it was noticeably quiet. So like 6 of them saw the principal today. So
we need to get Allyson a little bus filled with
right.
So she can put some.
So 5 or 6 of them saw the principal today. It definitely made a difference. The good one, I want to get him off the bus. I just want to get him off the bus. I think he's special needs, to be perfectly honest. Which is fine. I think he's definitely ADHD. Like for real ADHD. Like needs to be something. There needs to be an intervention in some sort of way.
His energy or something.
There may not be a dad in the home as well. I have a feeling, which that can be, especially at this age. I don't know. It's not my problem. It's just fucking figure it out, and either get him to, it's not safe. No, it's not safe. I want him off my bus.
Yeah, and
he's not safe.
An accident. Mm-hmm.
And he stirs the pot, and he gets all these other boys going. And anyways,
look
blah,
who's
blah, blah,
here.
Blah. So,
Carolyn, we were hoping.
Hey, Carolyn.
In last week, we ended up having a question for you. Maybe a little bit later on. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think Allyson, you may remember. I'm not sure. But Carolyn, you got to let me know when you and Peter would like to join Allyson and I. We are. I just want to interrupt really quick for a second, Allyson. So we found out that whether or not we stay here in April, they still are demanding the last month's rent no matter what. So if we're going to pay $800, we're probably going to stay here an extra at least week or two in April. And so we're probably going to be heading out, around I would say probably around first week of April or so. So up to that point, Carolyn, I'll still have my internet, hopefully. So let me know if you and Peter can join Allyson and I. Let's see, next Friday we have Selena, but maybe the Friday after that, let me know. we've really missed you and Peter, and we love you both, and hope to see you, and hope you can join us again soon. So let me
Yeah, that
just
would be great.
so everybody's saying hello, and and Gerald is here. Hello, Stash Man. Howdy, howdy. And let's see. Shelby says like the very active jumping off the walls kind of ADHD. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
he can't. He Yeah, it's like I said. I'll be brief. They all spoke with the principal today, and everybody was markedly improved and better, and at least. And I get it; it'll wear off after a while. But like him, it's like he still was doing shit, And like I didn't look at my mirror at all until close to his stop, which is when I finally heard him. And I watched him, look back and forth, looked at him, and he was, he can't, he just all I don't think he can help it.
yeah.
I don't think he can help it.
It sounds like he might need a special class to help him learn how to
Yeah,
relax,
I
to
mean, he
ground, and
just,
redirect that
and
energy.
I would never tell him this, obviously, but it's like he is funny, you know. He's pretty funny, and he's charismatic, within the group, and I see it, I get it. He's also superficially speaking, he's a nice looking boy, and he but he's just a fucking spaz, and he can't I don't think well, I don't know. He's not polite. He doesn't
Hmm.
have any kind of like
Manners.
yeah, I mean he and I know that they all say this right now, it's a thing, and people call everybody bro. Like that's a thing now, right?
Yeah.
And they call girls and guys that, right? And like yeah, oh yeah, it's been a thing for a while.
I call a girl girl and the bro, hey bro.
Bro has been a thing for a while. Anybody that knows kids, middle
Yeah.
school, high school, or even older, everybody's bro. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female, which is so weird to me. But anyways, I'm not even gonna go into that whole thing. But anyways, blah blah blah. That's enough attention for him. So that happened. I stayed the night with Anthony a few nights. We're just hanging out, played some games, this, that, whatever. He's got some physical pain stuff he's dealing with. I've been helping him with. I took my whole
Yeah.
body vibration machine over there. Some of you know that I did that for years. The training for that, and physical
Yes.
conditioning and all of that. So I took my device over there, which is usually showing over here, but it's at his house. I got it over there the other day and surprised him.
Selena said years ago, my son called me bro
Yeah,
first
bro.
and last
Yeah, well,
time.
this boy called me bro one day when he was talking to me, which he doesn't mean it. And the
Yeah.
thing is, he doesn't even mean it bad. It's like it's very much just a normal thing now. And I cut him off and I told him, I said, I'm not your bro. Don't call me bro. And he kind of laughed, and he's like, oh, my bad, whatever. And it's like,
I mean
yeah.
it.
So anyway,
Tough love.
uh, yeah,
So
I mean, I don't know. And again, who the hell am I? But it's like I've read two really good books on the subject, and I know a lot of people that have it, and I know what it looks like. And it's like I'm not, would never, but it's like that would work. That's where I put my money.
sounded like me here and there growing up, and
So if
even
he
now into my
adjusted his
adulthood.
diet, it could probably make a huge impact because
Yeah,
we now
especially
know
less
that it does make
sugar,
a big difference. But
less sugar and
yeah, I don't
caffeine with
know.
these kids.
And he's
Um,
tiny. He's so little. And what he's there's a couple, and I would never say, but it's like if he doesn't get it together, it's like all this shit goes on your transcript, and all this,
mm,
he's been kicked off the bus several times already. And I know and it's like you can end up working at fucking Burger King, dude.
yeah.
It's like you need to get together now, you know.
Yeah, mother's in chat. Selena said she reminded him, I'm your mother, not your bro. And even Karen said, yep, my son went through a calling me bro phase. I always said, I'm not your bro, bro. You
Yeah.
call him
What?
Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so really quick, Isadora remembered what we were hoping to ask Carolyn, and Carolyn
Yeah, I
responded, but
know.
I didn't know if that's what she meant. So the question was about the energy on Anthony's balcony,
Yep.
and then Carolyn says he doesn't know it. So I'm thinking that's what she's referring to, or if she's referring to the boy that we're talking about on your bus. So Carolyn, what
I
exactly
have
he
no idea.
doesn't know it? Is that the boy on the bus, or did you see what Isadora um, wrote? Um,
What did Isadora write?
well, Isadora had said question. She said question about the energy on the balcony is
Oh,
one we wish that we had Carolyn. And so when I saw Carolyn type in, he doesn't
she's
know
probably
what.
talking about the kid on my bus,
Okay.
I would guess,
So
because he
did you
doesn't
want
know
to
it.
ask
Wouldn't.
Carolyn about that while we're here? While she's in
I'm
chat?
sorry, we're jumping all over the place. So say that again.
Do you want to ask Carolyn about that tonight before we move on? Is that something you
Sure.
want to
If
ask
I
her?
don't, I feel kind of, I don't know. Carolyn, are you okay with us asking you a question? I mean, she usually is.
Carolyn, if you're not up to it tonight, just let us know. I just thought that while you were here and we
Right.
had been
She said the
talking,
kid on the bus. That's what
the
I
kid on the
figured. Thank you,
bus. Okay.
Carolyn. I see, and I agree. You're probably looking at that psychically. I don't think he knows either. I'm curious if you can see that he has ADHD. I think he does, and I doubt his mom is even his mom. Okay, cool. She said yes. His mother, Carolyn, she and everybody else. His mom is very attentive with him. She's at the bus stop every morning. And she picks him up at the bus stop in the afternoon when I drop him off in her car. So she walks him down in the morning. She's there at the stop, and then and she's one of the only parents that does that for middle schoolers. So she seems kind of, she's always giving him a big hug and kissing on him. He just kind of stands there and lets her do it. So she's kind of, she's definitely, I think the dad probably isn't around. It's just a feeling, I could be wrong. But
Hey, Ange,
yeah.
have a good
And
night.
he's
Thanks
tiny.
for
He's
popping
so
in.
little. He's like to hear on me, and he's, I don't know, like seventh grade or something. So I don't think he's gonna be very big. Um,
Oh, hello, Garnet. Thank you, my dear. That's so sweet. And Miss Terrell D says, so his mother is aware of his challenges, obviously, you know, but getting,
I don't know if she is or not, because a lot of moms don't see what the F is going on in front of them. They see their beautiful, brilliant, gorgeous boy, and everybody else is. And I'll tell you this too, when he got kicked off the bus, he's been kicked off twice. Once, I don't even know why. I suspect I know why. It had nothing to do with me. There was a girl that suddenly wasn't riding my bus anymore, and they put her on a different bus. And I'd gotten wind that it was because she was being bullied. There was no bullying going on my bus unless it was really being done cleverly or on the sly or something like that. And I had also suspected it was being done at the bus stop, not on the bus. So maybe it had nothing to do with him and the timing, because he was kicked off for a few days at the same time she disappeared. Doesn't mean they were connected, but I thought they might be. But anyways, the time that he got kicked off because he threw fruit at the friggin' windshield of my bus, right over my head, she was suddenly not, when he would drop off, like she was upset. And I'm like, whatever.
yeah.
It's like your badass kid is throwing stuff, causing a safety hazard, and you're going to be upset because somebody got your baby boy off the bus for a few days. And it's like, it wasn't my doing anyways. the powers that be looked up the footage and watched it, and they're the ones that took action. I have nothing to do. I practically have nothing to do with it other than reporting it.
Yeah,
So
Carolyn said he hasn't connected with anyone else. And Miss Taro D said, all that attention she gives him sounds a little bit like mom's just making sure he is alone for a long period of time. What do you mean, Miss Taro D? All that attention she gives him so that, come on, just, in a way that kind of sounds like what my mom used to do, making it sure that, you know, I had friends, but,
yeah, he's really young, Miss
I could be
Charity.
without her.
He's like he's either sixth, seventh, or eighth grade, right? And you'd
Oh, I'm
think I
sorry.
would know. I don't remember. I think he's in seventh grade. So, I mean, it could be, or she's just feeling guilty because, again, I really feel like she's the only parent.
And so
So,
yeah, I knew moms
and
that would.
boys need a dad. I mean, kids need both of their parents, right? And
Hmm.
I get it. Everybody's different and shit happens, and there's a million reasons why some kids don't have both parents. So, but
Yeah.
anywho,
So Slim
what
said
is
she knew moms that refused to believe their kids had an issue, regardless what the school told them.
right?
So yeah,
Yeah.
because they wanted,
Yep.
like Shelby said, because they wanted the perfect child, and Shelby was like, "Yep, that was me." That's what her mom did. So yeah, it's hard,
And there's a lot of times you don't see your kids' other side too, and that's not the case here. But like kids that like there's kids that act out and do stuff and never do it at home and stuff like that. So it can be a hard time or a while for my son had some friends that were like that, and you could see that so and so's mom has no idea how so and so acts. So that kind of thing can happen too. But anyway, so Carolyn, thank you so much. And whatever light you can shed on this if you can. So my partner, Anthony, I don't really know how much to share, but I'm sure you've heard me talk about him a little bit. He at his home, nothing's happened recently, but a few weeks ago, within the course of about 10 days or so, on his balcony, he's on the second floor of a building. On the balcony where he lives, there was like a apparition of a man that walked by. He saw it a couple times and hadn't yet told me about it. And then we were sitting there one night and in his chair together, and I saw it out on the balcony, and I was like mid sentence, I was like, I just saw a man, and there's no man walking by in the balcony. He's on the second floor. The balcony goes from one end to the other, and that's it. You're up 15 feet off the ground or whatever it is. So yeah. We have a couple suspicions about it. I thought maybe it was his paternal grandfather, possibly, or he did see a couple things at his other house, and one of them kind of sort of looked like that. You had explained that there was a portal there that was a result of, just him, or that's how you had viewed it. I don't think it's the same thing, but anyways, there's been no sighting since. And
Interesting.
but anyways, yeah. Essence of the moon. I have ADD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Shelby was sharing earlier everything that what she was trying to go through, and you know in school, a lot of teachers, they don't know, or they're not trained to work with kids with special needs, or
There's so many different kinds too. ADD, ADHD, especially if you follow with Dr. Daniel Amen, who does brain imaging. There's like 7 different types. It's not all the same thing. And it's like it happens for a variety of reasons in different parts of the brain, and it even looks different. But there are some key things. Carol, his gifts are beginning to grow. Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's kind of, I agree. It's kind of he's continues to go through stuff in his own life and doesn't have a lot of downtime or quiet time, and his brain never slows down, and he's dealing with some nothing dangerous, but with some health things like ongoing, like with his gut and everything else because of all the anxiety and stress and everything else. He needs to retire. He just can't retire yet.
Yeah.
But anyways, so he doesn't have, once he retires, he looks forward to goofing around and strengthening all that stuff and working with it. He just doesn't have the time to invest in all of it. But he does get stuff here and there, but it's nothing like he would like it to be.
Yeah,
So,
well, at least he got a pretty cool tattoo. I got to see it, y'all. It was
oh yeah, he
amazing.
got intact. And wait, I think I mentioned it. He got it a week ago Friday. Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week. It's healing beautifully. It
Gorgeous.
looks really great. Yes, Anthony, he is in a brain cycle. What does
Uh,
that mean?
Carolyn,
Do
brain cycle.
tell.
But I've noticed too that, since
Oh, meaning he's in his head a lot. I think that's what she
Allyson's
means.
been with
And
Anthony, it
yes.
seems they're both helping each other develop their abilities, and each seems to be growing more. And I think they're learning off of each other. It's kind of like that, like you were talking before, you felt like this was a connection. You were meant to come together and, spiritually,
Yeah.
probably past life. And, you're here to help both each other grow now spiritually and develop your gifts. That's what I feel. And Miss Tarot D, sorry to hear that. I have CNN and HBO. I don't know. I missed what that was all about. Hello, Michelle. Hello to you, Jonathan and little Rosie. I hope you're having a nice evening in Mexico. I hope the weather is nice there. Um, Michelle, Jonathan, and Rosie moved to Mexico, and they've been just having the most beautiful weather and showing the fresh fruits and vegetables and how much cheaper it is to get natural produce down there. It just sounds amazing, Michelle. So, well, I'll catch up on chat. Oh, and yes, Miss Tarot D. Ramon sent Miss Tarot D a new Santa Muerte deck. And so, Miss Tarot D, we hope we get to see a little bit of a flip through. So I'm sure Allison would love to see that as well.
Which
Y'all,
one? Is it the
um,
Santa Muerte?
it's got the it's like a purple front to it. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up on my phone.
Oh, did he send her the deck? He's got a deck that he's had that I'd never seen before, and it's out of print. I'm probably not, but I'm wondering if maybe he did.
I'm going to look it
He had
up.
a Santa Muerte I'd never even seen before, but he got it like, I don't remember where he got it. He didn't get it here.
Oh, she says his brain keeps going on full tilt, so it's kind of hard I think that's what she's saying, that for him to be able to process. No, it's called The Secrets of Santa Muerte
Oh, I've seen that cover.
by Cressida Stone. So I love the
Cool.
purple on the front.
Cool.
Very cool.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, it's not the deck. Oh, it's the book. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Tarot.
Oh, it's a book. Okay.
Okay.
I would say I recognize that picture, but maybe that's
yes.
why, because I have perused many, and then I ended up getting the one by Michael somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, I came across a really cool deck. I was like, Allison, look at this. It was on Etsy, but it was one of those $55, $60 ones. And she's like, no, stop sending me these decks. I refuse to pay that price. But they were beautiful. So for a while there, I was just like, look at this deck, Allison. Look at that deck. And she was like, stop. But yeah, whenever I find a friend of mine that, loves something, and every time I see something, I love sharing that and sending that, like the dolls that I sent you, the articulated, beautiful dolls that you can buy now. Just really, really beautiful. Let's see. Ramon interviewed the author on his channel last week. Okay, that was what the interview was. Okay. And you're okay with the typing, Miss Tarot D. We understand it's Friday. This is when you usually have treatment and your group and stuff. So no worries, my dear. But when Carolyn said his brain, keeps going full tilt. I think it's just because of all the work he has to do. This is what I'm assuming, not Miss Terody. Oh my goodness, Carolyn, is what I think you're saying, is that because, Anthony works so hard and he's got a million and one things going on in his life and his head, that until he really is able to slow down and relax, that's when
Yes.
everything calms down and he can get
Yes.
the messages, and things come through. So
Yeah.
sorry it took me all that to just to say that.
Yeah. And
But
thank
that's
you,
Heather.
Carolyn. He's got to start sleeping more. He doesn't get enough sleep. He just doesn't get enough sleep.
That's not good. I mean, let's stay too long. Well, enjoy your new art project. You'll have to put it on your channel, or maybe share it. I would love to see what your art project is going to be, or what you're working on. I like seeing what other people are doing. So before I move on to my little ditty, did you have anything else that you wanted?
I do,
Oh,
Carolyn.
oh, there we go.
I do.
Yeah.
I do
And
everything that I can. We do a lot for each other. But yeah, yeah.
I keep thinking that it's that connection from a past life with Egypt, because it was like right around the time when you were really getting involved with the Egyptian, books and interest in the ancient history. It wasn't long after that Anthony came into your life, if I remember correctly. And so I'm wondering if that might have been, maybe a past life coming back around again in this life for you to, reconnect again. We probably talked
Yeah,
about
I
it
don't know.
before.
I don't
Hi,
know.
Barbie.
I don't know.
We
But
can
yeah, it was
speculate.
around that time.
Mm-hmm. Start, adding the dots and, you know, connecting them.
I mean, not to we've all had so many lives. I mean, you know what I mean? Hundreds, probably, or more, I would guess, but who the hell really knows?
So, for people who got to see, I had a wonderful surprise on
Whoops.
what day was it that I went? Was it Monday? No,
No, it was
Thursday.
yesterday.
It was yesterday. See, I can't even remember some days which days are what. Yesterday, when I went to go drop off some more donations to the NAC, I got to find out that my some of my paintings that I donated for. So for people who don't know, that have heard Carolyn, and for anyone else, because of moving to Oregon, I can't take all my work with me. So a lot of large paintings that would be kind of expensive to ship, I'm donating them to the Niagara
Those
Arts and
are
Cultural
big.
Center. And the lady, both women, Liz and Barbara, they work with special needs adults. They're called River Shore, and they work with people who have Down syndrome, mental health, physical blindness. I mean, they all incorporate all arts and things into, with the adults. It's amazing work that they do. And so they were willing to take my paintings to use as fundraising for, their classes, and then other projects outside, because there's a couple of other things that are kind of going on around here, that need support, and so they're going to be using some of them for that. And Ray took a few of them. He's one of the main curators and artists that have been at the NAC. I've known Ray since I started, got connected with them in 2011. And he decided, along with a few of others, he picked about 4 or 5 of mine, that I've done in the past. And I got a beautiful surprise. I waited till it went live to share that with everybody. But I mean, it's a very small gallery. They're not, a main gallery by any means where I would get a lot of traffic, or so, or to, on a resume. But it was just so beautiful that Ray thought highly of my progress as an artist, and he hung several of my paintings along with other people in the garden gallery. So I got to do that. That was a wonderful surprise live I was able to do yesterday. So, and then today, well, actually, after that live, I spoke to Barbara, and they're going to see if they can have some auctions or fundraising with some of the paintings that I gave them, and the money that they raise from that, they're going to see if they can help me with funds to get us for our move in a couple of months. So it's just, it's been stressful, but at the same time, wonderful people, spirits bringing a lot of wonderful people into my circle to help me out on that. And then today, I kind of broke down and got myself a deck, and I got myself the Crystal Tarot. And when I saw the flip through on YouTube today, I thought the cards were going to be a little bit more vibrant, or whatever camera or light they were using. It was just like really like intense on the screen. I'm like, oh, I got to get this deck. They're still very beautiful. I love the artwork, but I really still prefer that deck creators stop making so much border and focus a lot more on the image, especially when art, this gorgeous. And look at the backs. I mean, just beautiful. These are the colors that I love to use in my artwork. Um, I would love at some point to see if I can get a cutter and be able to trim a lot of this off and just have the artwork itself. I know, Barbie, isn't that gorgeous? There are a lot of just beautiful artwork in this deck. The Empress, I mean, just beautiful. And I was starting to read the book before I joined Allyson backstage, and the artist was inspired by Gustav Klimt, and his work. And so at that time, with the expressionist, you have um, the cubist, you have Klimt with the designs and the colors. So that whole time period and frame, just really beautiful. And I didn't really realize it, but it is mostly a pip deck, which I don't mind. I don't need to have people holding cups or swords or anything to be able to read the cards. But look at this hermit. Look at the shapes and the colors. This also reminds me some of the artwork that Lady Frida Harris did for the Toth uh,
Mm.
deck as well, with her shapes and colors that she included. So that was that whole time period. And just, I mean, how gorgeous the colors, Southwestern
It
too.
really is nice.
The palettes, I just can't wait. I'm just, and I was telling Allison backstage what I'm thinking about doing is setting aside some cards and making abstract, because people know about the abstract cards that I've been working on since last summer. Taking the colors, the palette colors from this deck and creating an abstract one to kind of pull along to have as a companion deck with this. So that might be a little project I'll be working on to keep me sane until we're ready to go. Um, and this Monday, new brakes. I need new brakes, so I got brakes coming on my car on Monday, and possibly a new battery. And the car's just about ready to be able to hit the road when we are ready to go. So, and I had that wonderful show with Selena. Everybody, please make sure to check out Selena's channel, Essence of the Moon. She was my guest for a pop up on Wednesday afternoon for the first quarter moon. We had Althea with Ange and I last night on their lyrical live stream, which was a lot of fun. And Althea will be joining Nancy and I for the Divine Feminine on Monday. And also poetry back on Sunday night with Karen and Lennon Smith. She's joining us and hoping that she'll be sharing some of her poems from her new book. So yeah, just really been a busy week, and yeah, things are moving along. So, did I answer your question, Allison? Carolyn would like to know.
Um, oh, I was curious if you had any feeling about who might be who we might have seen on the balcony at Anthony's. It was, we both saw the same thing. It's a man. It was he had on a hat. It was more like a it was more, almost more like an outline, not really an outline, but like it's not like it looked like he was in shadow almost, but not a shadow. I don't even know how to explain it. And it was just like, looks like a guy just walking by. He walked from the left to the right, and then the two times that Anthony saw it, he saw the same thing. And that was it. That was it.
Have your kitty balls gone off yet? At all this week?
No.
The energy? Thank you, Miss Tarot D. Yep, that's Selena's link for her channel. She did a video today.
Is Selena here?
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Here she goes. Oh, it is a walkthrough. He died in a car accident.
Oh.
Walkthrough.
Okay. So even though we're upstairs, so like he was in the area or whatever when this happened, it's just, to me, it was just weird because Anthony's up on the second level where he lives. And I'm like, why would somebody be walking by on the balcony? That's just, so he apparently wants to be seen, right? I mean, not that I'm saying it can't happen. It just seemed weird to me because he's not on ground level. It's like, why would whoever it is, it's like, why is he on the balcony? Whoever it is, right? But anyways, but thank you.
Keeping Tom.
He died in a car accident. So he died, and Anthony lives kind of by pretty close to Michigan Avenue. It's like you can kind of hear it. Anthony's always talking about how you can hear Michigan Avenue, and I'm like, really? It's like it's not close. He's Anthony sleeps with earplugs. He wants silence. It's like there's not even any noise. But he's a light sleeper, so he hears stuff and it'll wake him up. So he wears them. But he says he can hear Michigan Avenue. It's like, I can't hear it. I mean, I can hear it if the window's open, I guess. But I see the colors dark brown when talking about this balcony guy. Yeah, it kind of was. He knows he can contact you and Anthony. Interesting. Okay. Was it somebody that died in the area, Carolyn? Do you just know that? Like, you're saying a walkthrough, so I'm assuming it was like it's to the area where he is.
He may have even lived there in a house previously that used to be there before the apartments, or maybe when the apartments were there. You couldn't see any time period. It was an
accident.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that means, oh yeah, she said car accident. So interesting.
Could you tell what the time period was from any clothing or anything, or it was just no? That was just a man
got a hat. I mean, honestly, as soon as you said that, I just got like before like my birth, but maybe not long. I don't know if that's right. That's just a feeling I got as soon as you said that. But
oh, Isadora, was he a customer of Anthony's?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Isadora, where did you get that from? Oh, I just got like a shiver when
you know what's funny, Isadora? Anthony and I went to one of the cemeteries that we walked about a year ago. We were there walking it. And we were just about done because we'll start at the back or we'll pick a section and we'll zigzag, and we usually try to see all of the graves, right? And we were coming back through and we came across one, and it was one of Anthony's customers. But Anthony, he knows a lot of you guys. He's worked there for over 25 years, literally. Like it's like 27, I believe. And it's a very, very well-known business, and they have a lot of customers that have just been with them forever, and they're super, super honest, and you know that they have so much work because they're just very trusted, and they have an amazing reputation. And anyways, but it's like, and he's so kind and so nice, and everybody likes him. And whatever. So, yes, he is trying to move forward, and it was a 1960s Ford. Interesting.
Ooh.
Okay. Thank you, Carolyn.
So Carolyn, was this in the 60s or was it more recent and he was just driving an old 1960s Ford? Gotta love the Fords.
I
My
think
dad was a
that
Ford man.
it was probably a newish vehicle when it happened. I'm curious what Carolyn says. As soon as I read, I'm like, yeah, I think it was a newish vehicle when it happened.
Yeah, mine's a Ford too. My daddy was a Ford, and so was my uncle for a while. And um,
Ford is
they
crap now.
I don't know. There's not too many problems with our Ford dealership out here. A
Good.
lot
I'm
of people
glad. I'm
have
glad.
Broncos
And I'm
and
not
trucks
making
around
it
here.
up. I mean, do your research. I'm certainly not making it up. Of course, a lot of cars in general, they're just not well made anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. Shelby's sharing an impression she's getting. I see a guy who's big, like overweight, with like beer belly. He's wearing a dark brown striped shirt, small beard, bald, dark brown glasses. I don't know.
I was
It,
thinking 50s too, actually, Moon Fox. I was thinking 1950s as well. Um, and then Carolyn wrote that. Yes, 2 years old when it happened. Okay, wow.
2 years old.
Um, he didn't look overweight. I mean, I saw
Hi,
his
Sandy.
shadow. He looked, probably average height, 5'10", something like that,
Hmm.
with just pretty proportionate. Not a thin man, but again, it happened so quickly. But it's funny what you're saying about the clothing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and
Barbie
again, he
says,
had on a shirt or a hat. He had on a hat.
I hear see jingling of coins with that guy. Very interesting. Everyone's trying to tap in and connect with their abilities and seeing if they can get anything. Very cool. That's how we develop. We learn from each other. Like I typically can't or see anything or pick up anything, but that's that one time in Arizona when someone wanted to know if they should keep this ring or, give it back to this one jar that we were because I was part of a circle of women that we get together for Moon and for the holidays for like Beltane and Samhain and whatnot. And during a full moon, Nan would keep this jar. And this jar would be full with items that people just knew energetically they didn't want to keep anymore. And the jar was blessed to hold with the energies. And I think there might have been some sands or something in it to kind of cleanse and protect and to ground the energy. And this one girl, I think her name was Kathy, had said that she had this ring. She really didn't know anything about it. She didn't know. She felt like she needed to let go of it, but at the same time, she wanted to hold on to it, and she just wanted to see if she could pass it around to everybody and see if we picked up anything on it. And the minute I touched this ring, and this never has happened to me really that much since then or before, I just started bawling and crying. I just saw this young girl crying, saying that was my ring, that was my betrothed's ring, that was a gift for, and it was just like they had to take the ring from me and get me really grounded, and I had a drink, and it was just like I didn't know what hit me. It was just like out of nowhere. So
Wow,
yeah,
drama.
we all pick up at things at different times, and that really hasn't happened since. Let's see. Michelle's picking up on some things. He's stuck. His higher self says he will need their form of a
Mhm.
shraddha done if you can locate his family. It's a special ceremony that helps souls move on to their ancestral lands. So, Michelle, you think this gentleman was a Hindu or Indian? That's interesting. Um, Let's see. Carolyn says if it happened, the car was 2 years old, which makes it late 50s. So 50, 60 still. And Shelby says, I want to think he was drinking or something with alcohol was involved when he died. I don't know. You know, back then there wasn't a lot of laws about seat belts, or they really didn't enforce, the drinking and law. I mean, look at nowadays. People are getting high and drinking and driving, and I know a lot of the law enforcement doesn't do much about that here until someone crashes their vehicle, and then it's you know too late from there. But yeah, a lot of people are sharing their impressions with you about the gentleman.
Hmm.
I was pulling a few cards, and it was interesting because as I was starting to shuffle, one flew out. The spirit has burdens in life and now in the afterlife, and it feels like there was something that was a conflict was involved, and now in spirit there's some sort of judgment or spiritual awakening. So it feels like maybe they're trying to find some way of letting go of this burden from a conflict that they were involved in. I don't know if it, from the person in the area or the person they were maybe driving with or involved with in life. But judgment, moving on to the other side, it's like they can't move on until this burden from this conflict um, is lifted. That was my impression when I shuffled the cards and to see what was what. So let's see. He was an Indian. Many cultures have a form of Shraddha. His family, let's see, didn't lay him to rest. That's my name or understanding for it. Okay, Michelle. So that would make sense too. And Sandy, Allyson was sharing, either was it last week or the week before, that there is an apparition that her and her fella have seen on his balcony. Um, that they were wondering who this gentleman was. They've seen him a couple times, but as of late, they haven't. But because Carolyn Booker's in chat with us right now, and she's a psychic, Alison was interested in seeing maybe she could pick up on who this gentleman was, and everybody else has been tapping into their intuition and seeing um, what they are sensing. And Isadora says, I feel a brown fedora with a black band and a jacket. Okay, here we go. Carolyn. His girlfriend lived in the area and he was trying to get to her. Okay. Carolyn, do you think it was because maybe of an argument or a fight that they had, and he was burdened by that, and he was trying to get to her to make amends, and then he had the accident? Just curious.
It's an old man.
You're picking up on an old man.
He's not, well, I shouldn't say old, but I would say he's around my age.
Let's say, girl, we're not old. Not yet. Allison and I are the
Years
same
away
age.
from retirement age. Um,
I'm
Not
embracing it. I'm holding
young.
on. No, but I don't know. I'm holding on.
I mean, not old, but older, I guess is
Older.
probably what I say. I don't
I
think of
like saying
myself as
older.
old either, but I'm definitely older. I'm about to be 55. I mean, that's not,
Yeah.
I think young, I think 30s. That was 25 years ago.
If
I'm a
only.
realist.
I know. I miss my youth. His name is Philip. He was 52.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay.
And Michelle Marie said, I also got Chariot, Wheel of Fortune, reversed, Death card. So car accident, the Wheel of Fortune, the Chariot being the vehicle. Wow, Michelle. Woo. Does he frighten you? No, I don't think you and Anthony never felt anything. Sandy was just
No,
curious if he frightened you.
no, not at all. And like I said, and for anybody that maybe not everybody heard it,
He's new.
that's it. Anthony saw the same thing as me on two separate occasions. He just walked by, not looking at just profile, just walking by. That's it. Done. Literally, like second and a half to get across the balcony, right?
Mm.
2 seconds.
Barbie says, I see a fumbling with keys in the car. Yeah, I hope he wasn't drinking, but sometimes. And Shelby, you don't have to apologize and let us know that you had to take a bathroom break, girl. It's all right. No one's keeping track of what we're doing in chat, girl. You're all good. You're fine. Um, so there was an idea that you had a topic to talk about. Did you want to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
I
that?
did actually. Um, so Heather and I usually have something to discuss or whatever. Um, so, and I'm not really sure why this came to mind, but it did. And then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? This is something that most people can relate to.
Hmm.
So,
Me included, recently.
and it's not that it's necessarily spiritual, but yet it kind of is. And I think the way that people look at it definitely can be in a positive. And I just wanted to talk about how sometimes people just
Be
you just
careful.
don't hear from them anymore. Or even if you try to reach out and they don't respond, or um basically which is the term ghosted has been coined, or um, that kind of thing. And a lot of times when that happens, the people that it's being done to or that experience that can feel like, what did they do wrong? Or, what, what's the problem? Or are they mad at me? Or, whatever. And the thing about it I wanted to say is because not that I'm proud of it, I have been the one that has ghosted and disappeared. Um, and it's that, like, for me, when I've done it, and it was never consciously or like planned to do it, but in hindsight, and a couple of times I did know I was doing it, it was
Mhm.
because it was too uncomfortable to either have the discussion that I didn't want to have, or there's been a couple cases where I knew it was going to be an argument and I didn't feel like having it, and it just wasn't that deep to me and I wasn't going to have it. So it was just easier just to, I know that sounds horrible, but the people that it wasn't horrible. Um, or also if the person is just going through a hard time, like I've mentioned a couple times, I went through a lot of stuff many years ago and I ghosted some people during that time. Had nothing to do with them. It was about me and what I was going through, and I knew these people were going to ask questions and want to dig and want to be a friend and want to be there, and it's like, I just don't want to talk about it. I just want to be left alone. So, and I bring that up to say is that for people to realize, and I know it can be sad depending on, especially if you're emotionally deep and all that kind of stuff, or you want or need to retain the people in your life or whatever, just to know that, it's about them a lot of the time. It's not about you or anything you did wrong, or yes, it could be, or maybe they just didn't want to have the breakup conversation, and it's not like you typically, and that's kind of weird too, that people don't really like to side amicably to break up when it's just a friendship. That's something that's done in romantic relationships. And usually, if it's a friendship that ends, there's some sort of ridiculous drama that takes place or something, and then the relationship's just over, and whatever. I don't experience that, but I know that people do, and that kind of thing. And so it's just, I think that it just can happen for a number of reasons. And then I was thinking about it. It's like, have I been ditched or ghosted? And I had to think about it. And I can't think of I can think of one time that it happened with somebody that I knew, a friend, a woman. And I know or knew, or I mean, I did notice, but I didn't like lose sleep over it or anything, but I did notice it. Um, and it did feel kind of bad. And then I realized later that she had gone through something really big. And it's exactly what I was just talking about, but it was her going through it. And yeah, so it's something that and I also sorry, and then I did that with my family, like a lot of people in my family, and I was just like, I am done. Like I just fell off the earth and they didn't get anything, nothing.
Yeah, same here with
And I
me.
thought it was fine because I didn't really get anything from them. Nothing of any real sustenance. It's nothing, so I thought it was fine, and I still do. I don't think you have to explain yourself in a lot of situations.
Hmm.
Now for some
For
of
sure.
them that were just kind of uncomfortable, in hindsight I should have just had the conversation. um but I mean, what are you talking about? A few minutes, you just put on your big girl pants, you just get through it, you just do it. But I think I was in such a place. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at it as like, yeah, I learned from that and I would never do that again. And now, I mean, for years I kept such a small circle. There's not any, and anybody that I know now, I would, have the conversation or whatever. But I guess my whole point is people go through stuff, and there's an ebb and flow. And I mean, if you think back through your life of all the people that you've known and you don't know them anymore, it happens all the time, really.
It does.
When you think about it, what if you sometimes it's just because you moved? And I've done that too. I've moved quite literally across the country, far away, several times now. And
Mhm.
but also I keep people at arm's length anyhow. In general, I'm not like a real, and I think that that's fine. And again, everybody loves and connects differently. Like me, um
Yeah.
I don't have to have a large crowd, and I don't have to have a lot of I don't have to invest as much. And that's fine for people that do. It doesn't, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We're all just built different. But I just wanted to comment on the whole taking
Definitely.
off. It's like,
Yep.
you know, um, yes,
Yeah,
essence of
lots
the
of pros
moon.
and cons.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
too. Very true. She says people are in your life for a
For a
season or a
season and a
reason, and
reason.
that's very, very true. Um, and I'm
And
so sorry. Hold on 2 seconds. I know I keep getting up. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm dealing with something. I'll be 2 seconds.
okay. And with me, I have cousins that I reconnected with when I moved back here. Was it almost 2009? That have just stopped talking to me, and they won't tell me why. I've reached out. They've dropped off at different both sides of the family. And has it been hurtful? Yes. Would I like to have known why? Did I deserve to know why? Yes. But, you know, it is what it is. And I have had friends that, wanted to kind of, from my past, wanted to, we change. And they would be like, well, yeah, we need to get together. Yeah. But then at the same time, I'm like, but I know from a fact that as much as I love them, there is there sometimes their personalities or their energy or their attraction or wanting to express all the conflict and awful and drama and stuff in their life was just too much. It would be unhealthy for me. So sometimes we have to ghost people, because of our own mental health, for our own emotional well-being. And right now I'm going through, some, even in the YouTube tarot communities. I've been on now for 3
Oh,
years. I've been going through stuff. with certain people in the spiritual community where, like Selena said, there are people that come and go for a season and a reason. And just because we're all in the spiritual community doesn't mean that we're all going to be on the same, how do I say this, um, without being, um, just because people say they're spiritual doesn't always mean they necessarily um, always treat others from that spiritual place, or um, you know they're and then there some of us who have different life paths, different things that we believe in, and while we can't be around or read or be in their chats or participate with them much anymore, that doesn't mean that we don't love them. It's just a lot of, we change, we grow, and we have to, there are times when we do have to put ourselves first for our own mental health and well-being. So again, it's I think very different, for everybody, but just to intentionally do that to someone, again, I shouldn't say that, because like Allyson said, she's had to intentionally do that, and and it's hurt people. But at the same time, again, we live and learn. We're human. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be here. You know.
Yeah,
So
and something else too that I should probably say, if there was anybody that I knew would have actually been like hurt, I would have had the conversation.
Yeah.
This is nobody that I was being like emotionally messy with,
Mm-hmm.
or knowing it was going to cause them any kind of anguish or pain, and I did it anyway. There was none of that. This was stuff that was more, either we were on the same page with it, or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or I knew it wasn't that big of a deal, or I knew that they were, usually a lot of times it's just people that are dead weight, and or they're too drama, too messy, too, and I just, it also, there's a time where you can be um kind of cleaning house, of which I did years and years ago. I mean, I don't, you know, but anyways, I don't need to go on and on. Everybody's situation's different. I
Mm-hmm.
thought this was a relatable subject. Most people have
Detoxifying.
experienced this in
Mm-hmm.
some form or fashion, or have been the one to go. So yeah, I just, and again, there's no right or wrong. It was just an interesting subject to bring up. And yeah, and I do think it can be kind of spiritual, because you got to kind of pull back, or there's an option to pull back and look at it at the time as well as later, and just, how do you feel about that now? Are you indifferent? Do you still on the same page? Is there maybe somebody you want to reach back out to? I'm estranged from my dad, which was the right decision. He's quite old now, and I have thought about whether or not I should reach out to him or not, and I don't really have a need to. But I have thought about it. He's really the only one that I would, because it's my dad. He's really the only one that I would have any sort of like, maybe I should revisit this and think about this again. For his sake, it's certainly not for mine. Um, so yeah.
Selena says, speaking of spiritual, Alison, you have 888 followers. Just look at your page, and that's spiritual.
Yeah, I
Isn't
haven't
that
looked at my
interesting?
page in ages.
That's pretty
And that's
amazing.
about how many I had when I left, or something like that.
And I've had to walk away from family members, and I just won't talk to them anymore. They don't need an explanation. To me, their lives are toxic. In some ways, they're violent. They can be dangerous, and I just don't
Oh,
want that for
yeah,
me in
no,
my circle,
never,
especially when guns and
never.
abuse and stuff are involved. I just, like, all I put out there is I hope they find their way, that they stay safe, and at some point maybe they can break the cycles, the negative patterns in their life, but that's not up to me, anymore. In the past, I've tried, I've offered, numbers and agencies and ways of being able to get help and move forward. And, I've been told to basically mind my own fucking business, words used. And so, yeah, there are times when you do have to go because that's the best thing for you, So, I totally get that. And I saw that, Michelle. I'm sorry to hear that, sweetheart. But yeah, we all have to take care of ourselves, Like I said, there are a lot of channels I have subscribed from that because I don't care about or love my fellow readers. But it's just the topics, the conversations, or the type of reason stuff. For me, if it doesn't fit well with me, doesn't make me feel comfortable, and I know I don't go there, then I just don't want to be brought back into that circle or that energy. And I can always reach out here and there privately. Hey, how you doing? Thinking about you. Hope all is well. And and then there are others that I've even asked spirit in the past to people who are no longer meant to be in my spiritual circle. They're no longer for my highest good or for my growth. Let them leave, peacefully, and that has happened to happened over the past 2 or 3 years since I've been on YouTube. I had a lot of close relationships. People remember that I was very close to Tangi at one point. Her and I were very much like sisters until one small thing that happened between us, and then that relationship ended. And a lot of other people too that have been very close to, that I have walked away from. Now, where they reach out and say, "Hey, can we talk?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's talk." Maybe at some point, some of these friendships, either from YouTube or in my life, or any cousins want to reach out and say, "Well, this is what was going on at the time." I would be able to listen, acknowledge, but like Allison says, now at an arm's length. I do. We have to take care of ourselves, especially in this day and age, energetically. So that's why I don't do the news. I don't get into the fear mongering. I just have to stay focused and grounded, for myself, my sanity, for Shan, and for our animals, because animals sense the stress and the anxiety too of what goes on in in our lives. And we're trying to be as much as grounded and loving. And when Shan and I do have our moments and we start to raise our voices, especially Ziva, she comes climbing out to us and climbing on us, going, "What's going on?" She starts, wanting attention, and we're like, "It's okay, mommy and daddy are," So it all has to, um, we all have to take care of ourselves right now, our loved ones, our community. And Gerald is still here and shared, I think there is grieving involved in all of these situations. Yes, Gerald, doing what's best for ourselves is what's most important. Exactly. Like they say, you got to be the one to put the air mask on before you can, give it to you got to be there for yourself. So, but yeah, whenever I've had to ghost somebody, most of the time it's not out of you know hatred, or to be mean or anything. It's just that it's something that I need to do, and I do it out of love for myself, and not wanting to um like there's a reason and a season. um And Shelby says, "You're the most important person you will ever have in your life. Take care of yourself and be good and kind to yourselves." Exactly. Especially with what's, again, going on in the world, especially in our country. We really need to focus on wanting to make a difference. Keep loving yourself. Keep accepting yourself for who you are. Love your family, except for, even if you have to keep them at a distance. There's so many ways of being able to be proactive in this time. Being in your communities, working with groups or organizations to help support one another. That little bit just ripples all out, and it can make a difference. And let's see. Wise words, Shelby. Yes. So I think Sandy nailed it. He said, "Oh, Allison must be cooking steak." They want to burn her steak.
And I'm so sorry, you guys. I never eat on the show,
That's
but
okay.
I did not. I had a very tiny meal, and I never eat this late either. But actually, I made some sausage links
Ooh,
because it
so
was fast. It's the fastest thing that, yeah, it's the fastest thing I can make, other than eggs. And I'm not going to make eggs right now because I wouldn't be able to do that and come back and sit down.
it's very neat. Abundance and wealth, Allison. I'm just catching up to see because when I talk, I don't look at the chat because I get so distracted. I get that 80 where I'm, and Shelby says, you want to write a letter of what you want to say to them. You don't have to send it. You just write it. That didn't work for me. But possibly for me, that only worked when I had to talk to myself after back in 2018 when I got really ill. And for a year straight, I had one notebook and I journaled in it every day. And then about a year, or it was about 6 months after that first year, the energy was too much and it was time for me to let it go. So sometimes even just journaling your feelings and stuff too. Let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. Okay, I mentioned Sandy says some wines mature, some turn to vinegar. Yeah, relationships and things. And there are a lot of people I miss in the community, our community here, that I don't read with anymore or hang out with anymore. And it's not like I said that I don't love them. It's just we're all different. We all move in different circles and are at different points in our life. Um, but it's really it's like they say when there you hold on to that hate and it turns into it's like the person that it's like drinking the poison. So having to let that go and
What do you mean,
well,
the
when you
hate?
get angry at somebody or you hold a grudge and stuff, and whether or not you say things out loud to intentionally hurt them or to kind of
Mm,
berate them, or if you just hold that into yourself, it's like you're like wanting to hurt somebody, but you're not really hurting them, you're hurting you. And I'm dealing that with my mother. She's on the other side, but
wow.
people in this life, um I just can't do that because it causes disease in your body. It causes
I don't
um
hate anybody.
you
You just
can
said
love
that, and I just realized I can't think of one person that I hate.
not good for our soul to hold on to that, right?
No, that's very toxic. No. Mm-mm.
That's why I don't want to watch the news, because the president, administration, supporters, I will feel hate and disgust and stuff. And then when I start to feel that, it's like, okay, shut it off, because I don't want to feel that. My parents really did not want to raise me, or at least my mother, in a place where I'm hateful. When I get angry, I get hateful or I get despiteful. I just say, you know what, this is happening for a reason. They are who they are. Hopefully that, at some point, sending love and understanding hopefully will somehow dissipate what's going on. But again, instead of focusing on them and this, you got to me, focus in on yourself. um doesn't mean you have to forget. Yeah. And Michelle says, I missed you all like crazy when we were making our international move. So nice to connect again. It's nice to have you back too, Michelle. For people who don't know, Michelle and her husband Jonathan and her little doggy Rosie left the United States after the election and left Washington, and they have a beautiful home now down in Mexico. And Michelle, every time I pop in to say hi to you, in the mornings when I can, there's always such a beautiful sunshine. There's always a smile on your face now. The energy seems like you're much more happier, much more grounded, like you have much more of a peace of mind there. And that's what's most important. And I don't watch the news. Nope. Yep. I just block that all out. And, Shan likes to stay on top of stuff. He says, well, it's important to know what's going on. And I said, yeah, I got an idea of what's going on. I hear a little bit here and there, but If he starts to want to watch something, I'm like, no, wait till I have to go out, do an errand, or I'm in here doing a show or something, and then watch, because even though I want to be here for him and to support him with what he feels and what he's going through from what he sees and supporting to him, again, there's that fine balance, because there are times when it's like, honey, I can't hear this right now. Nope, 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 this is bringing us down, this is heavy energy, I can't handle this right now. I go, but maybe later, or so it really is. It's a tough time for a lot of us, but again, this is what they're calling the hermit year. We go within, introspection. A lot of us are moving, going to different places, starting new jobs, new locations. So it's yeah, and take care, everyone. Jeffrey's home. Hi, Jeffrey. Enjoy dinner. Thank you for popping in, Gerald. It's always nice to see you pop in the chat. And Mexico is spiritual in many ways. They have a lot of spiritual places. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say on that. I mean, again, I could go on and on, but I'll just be basically saying the same thing over and over. But it's nice when people are upfront, you know, especially certain things right now. Um, there's some people that I know that I feel like there is a distance being put between me and them, and it would be nice to know kind of like why. But at the same time, it's just like, well, it's maybe not good for me. Maybe it's important for me not to know. Maybe it's better for my health and my spiritual being and stuff not to. So um, I just kind of like, again, leave it, in spirit's hands. I have my Archangel Michael. I ask for, protection and guidance, and my grandma, my dad, my ancestors. I've really focused more on my ancestors since I've known Allyson with her ancestor altar. And when I get to the new place in Oregon, I can't wait to make up my own little permanent ancestor altar. I don't have a lot of pictures, but I do have my papa's antlers. I have my grandma's picture, and um, I have a couple of others that I would like to try to get a hold of my aunt and my cousins. So I like to set up something to, for them, even if I don't have a picture, just writing their name on a piece of paper, and setting that on there, maybe with some artwork around it or whatever. But to, you know, Bobby Boo. Hey y'all, I can't stay. I'm at dinner with family, but I'm popping to say hey. Well, thanks for popping in, Bobby. And if all of you haven't gotten to see it, I love that, Bobby, that you popped in Monday. Bobby did a in the cards with Allyson. Um, Go check it out. It was really an awesome show. I loved it. That was a
It was very
beautiful.
nice.
It was a beautiful, beautiful show. Um, and let's see. Michelle says Mexico is America in the late 80s, early 90s. They didn't let technology take the culture over. The younger gens give me hope. Well, hopefully they'll be able to make a difference. And thank you, Shelby. Thank you. Have a good night. Selena says my family is from Mexico, and so yeah. Well, we're at 9:26. I do have to kind of watch time. I renew next week, which is awesome, because February was a short month, so my hours get renewed even sooner. Um, but let's see. They came in 1970, first generation America. That's when I was born. More like 71, because that was the last month of the year. But yep, 1970. Um, so, is there
Who
anything
came
else,
over
Alice?
where in 1970?
Selena's parents, her family's from
Oh,
Mexico, and they came over in 1970. First, so she's first generation. That's nice. All righty. Well, was there anything else, Allison?
mm-mm.
Mm-mm. We gotta let the girl eat.
Oh,
Um,
I'm done.
so, everybody, thank you for joining Allison and I. Again, this Sunday, Karen and I will be back with poetry with Lennon. Lennon Smith. And on Monday, we will be having Althea, a soul whisperer, joining Nancy and I. And we're going to actually be discussing, because of her name having the word soul in it, soul whisperer. When I typed into Canva the word soul just to see what I would get, I started getting the traditional images of like the Holy Spirit and things. And I said, well, the Shekinah, the Sophia, a lot of that has been seen as the divine feminine spirit, the Holy Spirit, seen as female. So that's what we are going to be discussing. Different goddesses or divine feminine that is associated with the Holy Spirit or is considered of the Holy Spirit. So um, looking forward to that. And let's see, we live in jealous. I can't. I'm probably not going to pronounce that right because I don't think you pronounce a J like an American J. So it'd be Jalisco. Jalisco. Let's see. And she says,
I've never seen that. Jalisco, I would think, but I don't know. Jalisco. I mean, some of the cities sound very
"Oh, it's like an
Spanish.
H." So it's okay. So it's
So it's
Jalisco.
Jalisco.
Jalisco. Okay. So perfect. Okay. Your dad is buried down there in Zep. Oh, Selena. I didn't know that, sweetheart. Wow. Beautiful. So, is there anything else you want to share, Alison, before we go?
Mm-mm.
No. Wow, those were quite the conversations. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And again, next week, Selena will be joining Allison and I for our show. And yeah, everybody, thank you again. And have a great night and have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you on our next live or in chat. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Have a good night.
Bye, Mr.